How did you become such a fan of wrestling?
I love sports, and I knew Vince and this and that. I guess it goes back a long way. I held 3 or 4 WrestleManias.
Yeah, 3 and 4 were at.
I think so.
Yeah.
And they were good ones.
Yes.
They were really good ones. It was hot as a pistol then. It's sort of always been hot, but I think it was really hot. And I don't think I did the first one, but I did maybe 3 and 4.
3 and
was-
4.
it
It's
was
the
4.
only. Yeah, it was the only time that it's been in the same place 2 years in a row.
3 and 4. In fact, it was so good I wanted the second one, right? But and it was a tremendous success. It was great. And really, Dana White and Vince are really 2 guys. They're very unique people. Dana's incredible.
Yeah.
And different. It's different kinds. It's actually a much different product in a certain way, even though it's
No,
the
no,
fighting
it is.
stuff.
Yes, yeah,
It's a much
completely-
different
yeah.
product, but they sort of have some qualities that are very, very similar. But Dana's done an unbelievable job, and Vince preceded him by a little bit. But boy, what a job he did!
Yeah, he really did create just a global juggernaut with WWE, and
So the combination sounds like it's a good combination, right?
so far it's really been amazing, and I think they've only really scratched the surface to how far this is going to go. I mean,
Well, Linda McMahon I picked, who really helped Vince a lot over the years. A lot of people don't know that. And she's a fantastic woman. She's been a big supporter from the moment, from the very beginning. And she was the head of small businesses, which is big business, basically,
Right.
small business administration. And she did a fantastic job. Everybody loves her. Special woman. And I know she was involved with the WWE. So it used to be WWF, right?
Yes, sir.
And they just couldn't get that name back, which was amazing, right? They couldn't.
Well, I
Did
think
it make
eventually-
a difference? Do you think it made a difference? WWE, WW. Now I guess with time it's okay.
With time, it's
but it
just
was
kinda-
hard to get used to it.
yeah,
right?
at first, yeah, it really was. I just think he got into the big deal with I think it was the World Wildlife Fund, and I just think he was like he seized the moment and said, you know what, it's time for a little bit of change, and it wasn't worth fighting it in the court and tying all that
And
up.
they were being absolutely very tough, right?
Yeah, and I don't think anybody was going to confuse World Wrestling Federation with the World Wildlife Fund. I mean, they were it was just semantics. I think
Did he lose that case?
he just chose not to. He just let it go, and
Well, in
that's
the
why.
end, he did the right thing. But I remember at the beginning, it was so awkward to say WWE, right?
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It was
went
really
from,
unbelievable.
Because originally it was the WWWF.
Yeah.
And then they took a W off, and then it was like a whole new facelift kind of a deal with the WWE. We'd changed our branding and the way everything looked, so it ended up working out for the better.
So tell me, what are you doing here with this stuff? So you have a big name, you have a lot of fans.
Mm-hmm.
When you asked me to do this, I said I'm going to do it because I'm a fan. I really think you've done a great job. What is this? So tell me what this is all about.
So,
it's a platform.
It's my podcast. This guy here, I don't know, 8 years ago, he works for a veteran-owned and operated company, Nine Line. Very patriotic.
Best apparel company ever.
And
What is it? Best what?
Apparel company ever.
Oh, really? Is that right?
We're veteran owned and operated. Yes, sir.
Oh.
Give back charity. Built 50 tiny homes for homeless veterans.
What apparel is it? What kind of?
It's
apparel?
patriotic apparel. It's just T-shirts.
So you know all about the Trump apparel, then, right?
Yes, sir. We actually made a shirt for Corey, who was tragically killed in Butler that day, and
I see.
we were able to raise a lot of money for his
Wow.
family. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. But
we
we
raised-
teamed up with this guy who used to wear our shirts, and
So how long has that been going? How has it? Been
so we've known each other for
7, 8 years.
7, 8 years, and he says, you got this platform. Yeah. Like I wrestled. I'm a wrestler. I did it for over 30 years, and he's like, he says, you've got this huge platform. You need to do something with it. And my wife was the same way. She was like,
How long?
need.
How long are you married?
I have been married for 14 years.
Good.
Yes.
Is this your second marriage?
Who counts? Numbers. Numbers. Numbers.
Let's second. All right, you can cut that part out. This sounds like it's going to get a little bit too.
I think I think you can relate. Like we both have kind of maybe outkicked our coverage.
So much for that question. Yeah. We'll take that question off. The answer started getting a little bit long. There's bad things coming out of that.
Numbers. See, this is good. This is the Donald Trump that people really don't get to see. I think you need to show more of this part of you, because I really think you're a guy's guy and a sports fan, and I know you got to have that. I know you got that tough guy persona and that bravado, but I think this is good. This is fun, and I think you know what you've done. You've made politics fun again.
Yeah.
And I just think some people get caught up in the fact that I think they look at politics now kind of like a wrestling story, and they can't separate reality.
Well, it's so interesting because, and I can't explain exactly why, but so we'll go to places and have 100,000 people show up, and I don't have a card, and I'm not a wrestler. And when I felt your arm, I said I wouldn't have been a very good wrestler. It wouldn't. You get big, strong arms on top of everything else. But and I'll get a crowd of 100,000 people coming about politics. If Ronald Reagan came back and he went to some of the places that I go to, he'd have 250 people or 340, and that's very, very good. And they do it in a ballroom someplace, and I'm getting like 50, 60, 100,000 people. It's crazy. And it's like a love of the country, because, it's hope. It's something going on. It's something very amazing. So now we're in the middle of the election period. I mean, it's actually started. The voting actually started after 4 years. Because if I didn't feel I won by a lot the last election, I wouldn't do that. Because if you lost, you lost. It's okay, you lose. It's easier in a way to just say, okay, I'm getting on with my life, and maybe I'll go to those beaches or do what I want to do.
There's golf to be played.
Yeah, golf too. Do you play golf?
I'm a frustrated golfer.
I would think you would hit a long ball if you hit it.
When I hit it, it goes a long way.
Yeah,
I'm just not the. And that's another. I don't want to cut you off, but I mean, like, who shoots at a guy who's got a 3-foot putt for birdie?
Right.
Now, who does that?
Right.
I mean, is that right? You had a 3-foot putt for birdie, and a guy starts popping shots off at you?
Yeah, well, that was the second time. Yeah, I'm standing over a putt. He could have at least let me putt it out, right?
I mean, come on.
It actually wasn't him, though. It was the Secret Service agent. The guy did a good job. He saw a barrel coming out. Can you believe it? AK-47. That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
And he saw a barrel coming out from behind a bush. The guy's buried in a bush, very lush course. And the Secret Service, he did an amazing job. He's walking down a hole ahead of me, and he sees a barrel coming out of a bush. And he didn't talk. He started shooting because he said, that's not good. And he started shooting. And the guy wasn't hit, but he dropped his gun, and he ran across the street, got into a car. Now listen to this one. A woman, it could only be a woman because men maybe aren't smart enough, right? A woman sees this guy running. He's running across the street. Now, who would do this? It's fairly busy street, big, Congress. And she sees him and she said, he's suspicious. I see people running all the time that don't look so hot. But she follows him for 1 block. He gets into the car. She stops her car, starts taking pictures of his license plate, and starts taking pictures of the type of car it was. It was a van of some kind. Mm-hmm. And she then takes the pictures and sends them to the sheriff. Who would do this? And the sheriff says, wow, because they just had an incident. It only happened 3 minutes before.
Wow.
So the sheriff then gets a picture, and he just had a call that there's this big deal going on. And 2 minutes later, he gets a picture of a car and a license plate. sent by the woman. Who would do this? I said to the sheriff, if this happened 1,000 times, how many people would follow a guy that's running down the street, stop and take pictures? And there's some kind of a chip or something on the license plate that if they have the license plate, they can track you down. Did you ever know that? I never heard of that.
I didn't.
There's some kind of a deal that if they have your license plate, they can find you. And they have him speeding down a highway, and they got him and nabbed him fast. But think of that, because he could be out there. And I wouldn't want to have a guy out there that, just dropped an AK-47 and ran, and he's out there. And they got him. And, he's got some problems, bad guy. But think of that. Who would think that somebody would take pictures of somebody's license plate because they saw him and he didn't look right? And a woman did this. Incredible woman. But I said to the police, I said to the sheriff, who's great, I said, Sheriff, how many times, out of 1,000 times, how many times would somebody do that? He said, maybe none.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's so crazy, right?
Yeah, it really is.
So it was a pretty wild time, and hopefully we're going to have a great election. We'll straighten out the country, we'll straighten out the border. We have a lot to straighten out. This has been the worst president in history. This is the worst vice president in history. She's worse than he is. And you never know. It's an election. You never know. Maybe somebody likes her. I think we should be in good shape. We knocked him out. Now we have to knock her out. And we'll get it back. And I do it because we're going to make America great again. It's very, we have a MAGA. You know all about MAGA.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
It's basically
MAGA. What?
It's basically
Make America Great Again. As a slogan.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I think I heard of it.
It's been pretty successful.
Definitely.
No, it's the greatest movement in the history of the country. And when I say that, if it was wrong, the press would kill. They don't. I say this is the greatest movement. They have to say, I guess that's right. Nothing even close. Maybe the greatest movement in the history of any country. But we have, and they're all fans of yours, by the way. We have probably 200 million people, if you think about it.
Wow.
Right? Could be more than that. A majority of the country. And they want to see. And when Biden went out, on occasion, say, we will stop MAGA, we will stop. They say, no, that's make America great again. He's going to stop MAGA. So anyway, it's been very successul. But now we're in the middle of an election, right smack in the middle, right?
Well, we're in the home stretch.
We have 19 days left. But the voting starts, Voting should be 1 day and should be 19 days or 20 days. It should, we have something I think that's going to be special. The numbers are very good, but who knows? You have to just keep working. And it's an honor to do the show with you guys.
Well, sir, that means a lot to us, and giving us this opportunity. We're not journalists, and
I turned down 60 Minutes, and I'm doing your stupid show.
And we're doing you're doing a professional wrestling podcast.
That's all right.
We're not journalists, and we're really not that great podcasters either. But we get people that watch us.